Hi there, this is a video on using the communication log. This particular program is basically built for teachers to be able to track their level of communication with students and with parents. So this is a great tool to help make sure that you're addressing like compliments if you are hitting academic concerns or behavioral concerns as they arise in the classroom as well. So let's go over how to use this particular program. If you notice down here at the bottom, there are a couple of different sheets. You have the tally sheet, which we're on right now. You have the reports page, which will populate a report for the student. When you initially open this, it'll be blank like this one. And then you have the students. This is where you populate all the information about your students. So if you have a program like ASPEN or Power Teacher, you can then pull or extract student data information like their last name, first name, address, phone. And you want it in this order because the program does pull from this. So you can probably talk to your administrators about how to query that data, extract it, and then put it in here. And then of course you have your particular teachers. These are the teachers that you're going to that are going to be using the program or that may be reporting. You can put down their email addresses here, and then you can click this button and it'll share it out. So I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. Um, the calculator over here, this is going to be essential because this document ID is the document ID that's up here at the very top. So what we want to be able to do is insert that. I'm going to delete this now so that you'll see what happens. It does give you a warning if you're trying to edit particular cells. These cells over here you can add information to, and it's not going to give you a warning like it does over here. So must have clicked off of that. Okay, anyway, it's supposed to give you a warning. So let's see here. And then the last one here is the log. This is the actual information where the information gets stored. So you can see that there's a timestamp for when that entry took place. You can see that the students are inputted here. These are all fictitious students. And then of course you have the date that your communication took place and which teacher gave that communication, the reason for the communication, and of course then the description of whatever happened. Now it's difficult to read all this information in here, so I'll show you where all that takes place. So I'm just going to go back to the tally sheet now. Now that you know what the workbook actually looks like, let's talk about the communication. So when you first open up this program, you're going to notice that there's an extra menu bar that appears up here, and you'll just click on communication. You'll go to setup. There are directions here if you want to read them. But for right now, we're just going to press setup and I'll explain what it does. So it's running the script, it's finished, it's pretty quick. I go over here to the calculator, and if you recall before, we deleted the document ID. So what it did was it captured the ID and it stuck it right here in the cell. Now that's going to be important because once we start to enter in the form data, um, it has to reference this specific sheet. So let's go up here to communication log. I'm going to go into a log. So I want to input information. So I'll show you how this works. Um, it pulls up a list of all the students. Now, of course, let's say that I wanted Diocletian. So I could press DD and I'll find Diocletian. So student Diocletian, and then the teacher. Of course, I only have one teacher in here, so that's me. And then what type of reason for this communication? It's a compliment. So let's say that I ended up called home. Dio was super kind to another student, picking up their materials when dropped in the hallway. There you go. Okay, so that was something cool that Diocletian did. All right, so I submit it. it's going to work its magic. It says, yay, success. Now I can add another student or whatever. Now you're also going to notice that this field updated and it shows Diocletian. I've made a total communication here of one. I have one compliment. So, and it turned green. So one of the things I want to, me personally, what I want to do is I want to be able to make sure that I'm complimenting students and sending feedback home. So this is my tool, my visual tool to be able to say, hey, you know what, I made that communication. Or if there were concerns, I can see those concerns as well. All right. Well, this isn't that helpful if I'm trying to see the students um, and their information because I still have to look up their contact information. Well, that can be a problem. So what I want to do is I want to use this sheet. So let's say that I had to make a phone call to Diocletian, but I didn't know his phone number. To go and look that up in either PowerSchool or to look it up in Aspen, I'm doing a lot of clicking, and that clicking is laborious. It takes time. It means I have to log in. I have to find that particular student, do searches, and it just takes too much time. So if I pull down this list, I can see all the active students I have. Again, I can do my search. I'll just delete this, and then let's say Diocletian. So D. Okay, so I can see now all my D students. Okay, I want Diocletian. It comes up with the parents and guardian, parent one, parent two. It has the phone numbers. It has the emails. Of course, I could copy the email and try to paste that in. Or what I could do is I could just call them right then and there. Or if I click on this, create the communication, it also populates. And I think this is probably the best place to really copy and then paste the the email addresses. So again, teacher communication, all this is populated already. Just to go over that again, and then teacher name. And let's say this time it's a behavioral concern. So he had a good day, maybe he had a bad day now. Um, through books, across room, when told splitting the empire is a bad idea. So if you know anything about Diocletian, he's responsible, of course, for splitting the Roman Empire up into four, what are now called dioceses. So that's where the idea or the word diocese comes from, Diocletian. Anyway, I'm going to press submit and it's going to work its magic again. And you're going to notice now we have not just our complementary communication that took place, but now we also have a behavioral concern. And we can see that all that information is placed right here in this worksheet. Now, if I wanted to print this, let's say that there's a parent conference coming up, or um, administrators have been asking, well, what communication have you had with this particular student? So I can go to my print and I can put in portrait mode. I can change the margins here to narrow, or I can make it custom and make it even smaller. Um, I think up here at the top, it's a bit much. So let's say 0.25. So that forces that up to the top. So now you can see all the complementary communication, the behavioral and academic communications as well that have been taking place, aside from the reporting software that we have. Um, so this is a nice, easy way of collecting information and then being able to also see it right here in this tally sheet to make sure that we're giving complementary communication, but also looking at academic concerns or behavioral concerns. And that could be this entire workbook could be used for the entire year, or it could be used for the quarter. Um, if you're on a team of teachers, then what you can do is you can add in those teachers' names, and you can actually type in their email addresses. And that's my school email, so professional email. So I'm going to just share this and watch what happens up here in the top. Right now, it says it's private. It's only shared by me. And then once I click here, you're going to notice that this changes. It's shared with one person now, and it shows that it's shared with Anthony Sylvie and